Om Sri Sairam. We begin today's session with three Omkars. Om Sri Sairam. Offering our most humble and reverential pranams at the divine lotus feet of our most beloved Bhagwan. Respected elders and my dear brothers and sisters, a very warm welcome on this auspicious Christmas special occasion of Samarpan. Today, we are blessed to have among us Brother Arun Kharidehal. Brother Arun Kharidehal originally hails from Vishakhapatnam, Andhra Pradesh, as an and is an alumnus of the Sri Satyasai Sai Institute of Higher Learning. He was a student of the coveted MBA program of Swami's University between the period 1999 till 2001. Post completing his course, he was blessed by Bhagwan to work for the Radio Sai Global Harmony and Prashanti Digital Studios between 2001 and 2005 at Prashanti Nilayam. During his stay at Prashanti Nilayam, Brother Arun was handpicked by our beloved Bhagwan with several opportunities to speak in front of him and also participate in several university convocation dramas. Later, he had the unique opportunity to follow Bhagwan during the divine darshans between the year 2001 till 2005. A health information technological professional for the last 20 years. He is currently working as a director at Philips, based out of Amsterdam, Netherlands, along with his wife Pratima and sons Yajur and Keyur. I would now request Brother Arun to share his thoughts with us.
Sairam, Brother Abhinav, thank you so much. Om Shri Sairam, humble pranams at the lotus feet of our beloved Bhagwan. Um, and many thanks, dear brothers and sisters, for taking the time to, give me the opportunity and listen to what I hope to share in the next hour or so on this very auspicious Christmas day. Before that, I just want to make sure that everybody is able to hear and see me well. Um, so, once again, today is a very auspicious day, uh, a day which brings us memories of Bhagwan's beautiful darshan in his white robes, early hours, uh, coming out from the balcony and those silver doors opening and all the candles and the 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 flashes of the cameras all clicking. No wonder it was a very divine sight to behold. And on that occasion, I think that the fact that I've got this opportunity to relive some of those experiences is something that I consider myself as very lucky. And I was thinking what I should share. Um and To me, I think what everybody looks forward to is obviously one thing. It's our stories, our experiences, our memories of our dear Bhagwan. And there's no, however much you recount them, however much you relive them, it is one thing that we can never be satisfied about. Um, it seems in the days of yore, uh, when Maharshi Vedavyasa wrote so many spiritual books, organized the Vedas, the Brahma Sutras, and several commentaries on great spiritual texts. Uh, he still felt that he was not a fulfilled person. There was some vacuum in his heart, and that's when he decided to write the Bhagavatam, which is the stories of the Lord, the Leelas of the Lord. And that's when, in spite of all his illustrious achievements, he felt that he was fulfilled as a person. Um, and a lot of those stories in the Bhagavatam are either second person or third person accounts of how people spent the time with the Lord, how the Lord spent time with the people. Um, but I think we are extremely fortunate that for us, this Bhagavatam is not of a second person or third person account, but it is a first person account. All of us have seen in our own lifetimes uh, the grandeur of the love of Bhagwan. So I think it's a very, very unique thing that we are able to uh, share and reshare and live and relive those experiences, not as stories, but real living memories that we can continue to experience. It is said in the Bhagavad Gita, the Lord Himself says uh, that he mentions this in a shloka. Machitta madgata pranaha bodhayantah parasparam kathayantascha mam nityam tushyanti cha ramanti cha. He describes his devotees that they are always fixed on me. They have surrendered their lives to me, and they keep talking about me with each other. And in that talking, in that sharing, they find contentment and happiness. And if you were to probably bind all the books, all the series of Samarpans that you have organized uh, for the Mumbai branch and print it, I think it will be another 10 volumes of the Bhagavatam. So let me add one more episode to this flow of love, and share that happiness and relive those wonderful experiences again with all of you. Um, Bhagwan often says that I keep on giving you what you want until you want what I can give to you. And I think that's a very recurring theme. I when I reflected this morning on what I should speak, it just occurred to me that this is probably something uh, that I can take up as a theme and try to illustrate in the wonderful stories that I have been part of. I have experienced personally. It involves a lot of it involves around how I got uh, the most blessed opportunity to spend time with Bhagwan, but the story is kind of very, very interesting, and I would say very thrilling story. And I hope um, I can recount it as accurately as I experienced, so that we all can enjoy the divine love of Bhagwan once more. So anyway, so like Abhinav mentioned, um, I uh, I did my MBA between 99 and 2001 from Prashant Nilayam campus, and as many of you might know that if you wanted to stay back, after your studies, there's a choice that you can wait for Bhagwan to tell you what to do, or it depends. Some boys would take his blessings and go. Some would try to stay back and get some guidance, and will some don't want to. Some can't get over that place, right? You just uh, can't get over the beautiful place that Prashant Nilayam is and Bhagwan. So you want to kind of stay back and savor everything that you can. Your hunger is not satisfied. Whether it's Bhagwan's love, or on Christmas Day the beautiful, delicious dinner of for Western canteen. Some people want to stay back, right? So I was one of those who was very undecided, and I did want to experience Bhagwan more after my MBA. I was not fully satisfied with the chances that I got. I did get many chances, no doubt, but I wasn't fully satisfied. At the same time, I wasn't sure, like, should I stay back, and what will I do? What about my career, and what about my aspirations, and what about my family? What will they think of me if I just stay back without doing anything? So I was in two minds. And So around, you know probably April or May in the 2001, when I finished my MBA, Bhagwan was in Vrindavan. I was also in Vrindavan. We was in sitting in the hall waiting for a music program to begin, and a lot of us boys were sitting around Bhagwan, and he started asking everybody, okay, and now that you have finished your education, what are you going to do? Um, so few people told Swami, I want to do this. I need your blessings, and he blessed. And then he asked me, like, what are you going to do? I said, whatever you tell me, Swami. So he said, okay, good. You go back to Vizag, which is my hometown, and he said, uh, you get married, and you find a job and be happy. Uh, I said, okay, fine. Uh, and then Swami went off to Prashanti Nilayam. I also went to Prashanti Nilayam, but I wasn't really happy at the corner of my heart. Like, it was very simple. Maybe I expected Swami to tell me, like, you stay back or something like that, but nothing of that sort happened. And I wasn't probably too happy with that answer. Um, so I thought there should be something more, right? And I continued to wait uh, for Bhagwan's uh, further guidance, and I think it was a couple of months, and Swami didn't speak to me once I went to Parthi. Uh, he would come, he would speak to several boys, he would call them inside the interview room, have detailed conversations, but he didn't have any interactions with me. So I waited for maybe a month, if I'm not wrong, and then my patience started wearing thin. I thought maybe this was the final guidance that I received, and then I said, okay, I'm done. I'm going to leave now. Um, and I booked my tickets to my home place. I said, okay, Bhagwan, I will buy a book. Uh, I think at that time there was this huge book about Bhagwan called Love is My Form, which had all his stories from the childhood. I said, Swami, I'll take this book with me. So I wrote a letter to Bhagwan saying, like, I'm leaving on a particular day, and I want your blessings to be with me. And I just put that letter in the courier. I didn't even give the letter in hand to him. I just put that letter in the courier, and I just waited for the day when I had to leave was supposed to come. Eventually, the day came, um, and that was the evening. just before the evening bhajans. That was supposed to be my last darshan with Bhagwan. And one of the boys actually told me, Arun, you're leaving, right, tonight? Yes, I said, yes, I'm leaving. Then why don't you sit near the bhajan hall door? Maybe you want to give a letter to Swami or something like that, because anyway, it's your last day. So they all went back, and that's what uh, Sai students are all about, right? Everybody wants everybody else to get the best chance with Swami, and you don't see that in many places. So I was waiting near the bhajan hall door. Swami had gone out in his car for a round in his BMW. I think he probably took around to the hospital, and he came back in the car. Uh, and I was sitting near the bhajan hall door. Swami got down off the car. As soon as he got down, he looked at me straight. Uh, and from the car, he said in a loud voice to me, in Telugu. I'll tell it in Telugu, and then I will, of course, translate it in English. He told me, Emra Potunava, means, are you leaving? Um, then I went near him, gave a letter to him, and I told Swami, yes, Swami, I am leaving. And then what was there in my heart actually came out. Uh, and then I said, but I don't feel like leaving. Uh, then he said, oh, is it? You don't feel like leaving? Okay. Then what you do, you go home, spend a few days with your parents, and you come back. Is that a deal? He said. So I said, yes, Swami. I was happy that he started speaking to me again, and that made it even more difficult for me to leave. So I said, yes, Swami. I was happy, and I just sat again in the bhajan hall. Swami went off into the interview room. And then minutes later, he opened the interview room door again and peeped outside and called me inside. Uh, so I went inside, and then he immediately put his hand into my shirt pocket and said, the return ticket kosam. He said, I'm putting some money for the return ticket. Uh, and so I, I don't know how to interpret this, but I think he knew that I was in two minds. So he said, see, I'm going to sponsor you for coming back to Perthi. So I'm going to give you the money. So just go and buy the return ticket and come back. Um, so that was really sweet. He gave me namaskar, and he said, go. So I went. I brought the money, bought the ticket with that money. I went to my home. I told my parents that Swami wants me to come back, and uh, so they said, yeah. They had no idea what I was doing with my life, but they said they've been a blessing to me by Bhagwan, although they themselves uh, are not truly into uh, 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 I would say, Swami's core devotee section. They were very open-minded, and they were very liberal. And I think it is Bhagwan's grace that they were very open for me to just do what I wanted with my life. And they said, "Okay, go. I hope it'll all turn out good. We trust you and your Bhagwan." So I came back to Parthi after a few days, and I thought, like, this is now my moment. That now Bhagwan, as soon as I go back, he'll say, "Oh, did you came back? So now let me talk to you, and I'll tell you what you should do next." And as you can expect, in the script with Bhagwan, everything is a surprise. Uh, he stopped completely looking at me, or even he didn't even recognize the fact that he himself had told me to go and come back. Um, and this was June, uh, July, nothing happened, and I was growing very, very frustrated. And my parents would ask me, "Hey, what is happening?" I said, I'm just waiting. Nothing is happening here. So I was under tremendous frustration, and I had no way to really express, because you just can't walk up to Swami and talk. Like, it's his choice. So that is how it all started spanning out. And uh, after a month and a half, I got so frustrated that I decided that I will now have to bring things to a conclusion. So I wrote a letter to Swami sometime in early August, saying, like, Bhagwan, it seems like you're not satisfied with my devotion, and you are not telling me what to do. Therefore, I conclude that I should leave. And I again put that letter in the courier, and uh, I just came for darshan. And that afternoon, I was near the water cooler, and one of the brothers came running and told me that Bhagwan is calling you. So I went, and Bhagwan was very, very upset and angry with me. Uh, and he looked at me and he said, "Donga, Donga." He said, "You're a thief. You're a thief." And then he said in Telugu, I'm translating in English, one moment you are saying you will stay here, another moment you are saying you will go. Uh, so now it's done. You should go. Uh, and for me, all I wanted was to attract Bhagwan's attention. And now I got it. Now he's telling me to go. Then I said, "I'm really sorry, Bhagwan. I just wanted that you should speak to me. So uh, now that you're speaking to me, I don't want to go." He said, "No, no, no, no. You have to leave. You just have to leave." Um, he said, "This is my order. You have to leave. There's no more discussion on this." Uh, then I said, "Okay, Bhagwan. I don't know what to do. When should I leave?" Then he said, "Right now, right now you should leave." I said, "Swami, I don't have anything. I don't have a ticket. I can't go right now." And sometimes I feel like, how could I converse so freely with Bhagwan? Like, it was so funny that I could take so much of liberty with Swami. I said, "Swami, I can't go. I don't have a ticket." And he said, "Oh, is it?" Then he said, "Okay, what you do, you wait till Krishnashtami, and you then go. You spend the Krishnashtami here and then go." Then I said, "Okay, fine." Then I waited, and I think Krishnashtami is somewhere around late August, at least that year. I waited. Krishnashtami came. Krishnashtami went. And you know the story. He was again, like, as if nothing had happened. And so I waited after a few days after Krishnashtami. Uh, and again, one day I caught Bhagwan near the bhajan hall. And he said, "Swami, you told me that I should leave after Krishnashtami. Now Krishnashtami is over. Should I leave?" Then he said, "Oh, Krishnashtami is over. Okay, let's do one thing. Onam is coming, so you just wait for Onam. You spend the time here in Onam, and then you can leave." Then I said, "Okay, Bhagwan." And Onam was sometime in September. Uh, and then I thought, okay, let me wait. Hopefully, he'll do something about it. Um, and I waited. Uh, Onam happened, but nothing happened after Onam. Bhagwan was already in his usual busy schedule. I was going frustrated because this is more like this cat and mouse game. When I'm approaching Bhagwan, Bhagwan is giving me a new deadline to go, and you know nothing is happening, and there's pressure from my family. Uh, One day, in the night, uh, I I sat up and I started thinking like, what is happening here? And why is Swami not telling me anything clearly? And then it occurred to me that I think Swami is merely reflecting what is going on within me, this confusion, right? This two-mindedness that I want Bhagwan, but I also want something else. I probably want to go back, have my own career. I wasn't convinced about staying, but I really wanted that experience, a continued experience with Bhagwan. I think then that night I decided that, okay, come what may, whether he talks to me or he doesn't talk to me, from now on, I'm not going to ask Bhagwan anything. I'm going to just wait until something happens. Or I'm kind of frustrated, and then I'll just go. But now I'm not going to be in two minds. And that day I decided I'm done. And I just started sitting for darshan, no expectations, very clear that I will wait for Bhagwan to guide me. I will not approach him on my own. And this was sometime early September. And when the clarity actually dawned on me, uh, uh, sometime middle of September, one of these days, my one of my seniors, Shiv Kumar, who used to play tabla, uh, he came one day to all the waiting boys, all the boys who were waiting. I was also part of that. Um, and he said, uh, Swami is calling uh, some of the waiting boys. He has something in his mind that uh, he told me to get some good boys and make them sit uh, near the bhajan hall door. It seems he has something in mind, and he wants me to pick up a few good boys and gather them near the bhajan hall door. Uh, so he said, Arun, you also come and sit. I said, no, yeah, because whatever was going on between me and Swami, nobody else knew. I said, it's okay. I mean, I will sit somewhere. But he said, no, no, Arun, you also sit near the door, there. And he made me sit with about 5, 6 boys. Uh, and Shivakumar was pursuing his PhD at that point of time. And after 5, 10 minutes, Bhagwan came out of the interview room and came to Shiv Kumar and asked him in Telugu, Emra Shiva, manchi pillalni తీసుకొచ్చినావా? Means, did you get some good boys? Then Shiv Kumar he showed at me all the 4 or 5 boys sitting there, and he said, yes, Swami, I got all these boys. And then Swami saw my face, and he got very upset. And he told Shiv Kumar, like, నేను నీకు ఏం చెప్పాను, మంచి పిల్లల్ని తీసుకురమ్మంటే చెడ్డ పిల్లలందరినీ తీసుకొస్తున్నావు. He said, I asked you to get good boys. You are getting all bad boys here. And he said, why did you get this boy of all people? He is a thief. He doesn't stick to his word. Uh, and then he went off angrily into the interview room. Before he left, I think I should tell you, this is the funny part. Like he told Shivkumar, like, who's going to give you PhD? You can't even get a few good boys. And he called the controller sir at that point in time and said, don't give him PhD because he didn't get good boys. And Swami walked off inside the interview room. And Shivakumar turned and said, "What happened, brother? Why is Swami so upset?" He said, "See, there's something going on between me and Swami." And I just gave him a summary. He said, "You should have told me about this before, I called you. Now I don't know whether I will get my PhD or not." So he was very worried. Then I said, "I'm sorry, but, this is what it is." So we all sat there. And Swami went inside and he called the vice chancellor and the registrar, Lakshmi Narasimham sir. And then after 10 minutes, Lakshmi Narasimham sir comes out, uh, and he comes to me and he asked me, "Babu, are you going to stay here in Patti with Swami?" I said, "Yes, sir, I will stay." Then he said, "Okay, Babu." And then he went inside. Uh, Again, after 5 minutes, he came out and he again asked me, "Babu, Swami wants me to confirm with you once and for all whether you are going to stay here or not going to stay." Then I said, "Sir, I am going to stay." And he said, "Are you sure, Babu? Because, now I have to go and report this to Bhagwan." I said, "Yes, sir, you can go and report this to Bhagwan." Then after 5 minutes, he again came out and he said, "You come inside. Swami is calling you." I went inside along with Shivakumar. We were trembling like what is going to happen now. Swami was there, the vice chancellor, registrar, uh, me and Shivakumar. And Swami looked at me and he said, "See, I told you to go and you are not going. This is not correct. You should go." I said, "Swami, I'm not going." Then he said, "No, you have to go. This is my order." And he told this very, very explicitly in Telugu. In Telugu, he said, "Idina Agnya," means this is my order. You have to leave. I don't know what came over me. Uh, and I don't think I can do this ever again. But at that point of time, I looked at Swami, and I told him, "Swami, even if this is your order, I am not going to leave this place." And in the normal circumstances, anybody who says that would have to just pack his bags and go. Uh, but as soon as I said that, Swami broke into a huge smile and he said, "This is what I want." Uh, you know, all this while you were having this monkey mind, monkey mind, monkey mind, going, staying, going, staying. And then he made a few funny comments that the only way I can be fixed is by my wife who hit me with a broom. Only then I will learn my lessons and all of that. And then he said, uh, and he called me Aruna. And then he told me, "Aruna, uh, you know how many millions of people are waiting for a small chance with Bhagwan? You don't know the value of being with Bhagwan." And he told me that just yesterday there was one Russian lady who had an incurable headache. She so much pain that she used to bang her head against the wall. And in one go, when Swami called her, uh, she got cured of her headache. This is one example. This is an example that Swami gave me. And he said, "You don't know how lucky you will be if you get to stay near Bhagwan." And I'm happy that at least now you have realized the importance of staying with Bhagwan. I said, "Yes, Swami, please forgive me and please give me the opportunity to stay back." And what he gave me was not just the opportunity to stay back, but an opportunity to be with him 24 hours of the day. He said, Arun, and he also rewarded Shivakumar for getting me. He said, both of you follow me during the darshan. Your job is to tell devotees that they should not touch my feet when I'm walking. And if somebody says why, you should tell them that Swami's feet are already in your heart. So there is no need to touch them physically. This is your duty from tomorrow. And I clearly remember the date, it was September 18th. And he said, from tomorrow, you come in the morning and you follow me. And, ever since that, uh, I could say that it was inexplicable, uh, something that, you know, uh, however much someone deserves in terms of his good actions or anything, it is just something that Bhagwan has to give. None of us deserves for that kind of love or attention. I do not know, but I can say that I'm one of the luckiest persons that I just got to see him, experience him so close, so upfront for several years after that. I would say golden moments. And the journey continued. And of course, the human mind is the human mind, and you always lose the human mind always loses the significance of staying with Bhagwan. And again, I take you back to the slogan that I gave. Bhagwan says, I will keep giving you what you want until you want what I really want to give. So what happened, while I was following Bhagwan in the darshan, is one day he just called me, and I think it was with my parents, maybe during one of these Dasara times, and he materialized a golden chain, and he put it around my neck. Um, it was very beautiful, but I saw that Bhagwan gave many such golden chains, necklaces to some of the other boys, and I saw it always had a beautiful pendant, a locket, and for me there was no locket. I felt like, why no locket for me? Why only chain? Then I felt a little uh, jealous, I would say, that I just got a chain. Um and I wrote a letter to Bhagwan. Bhagwan, thank you so much for giving me a chain, but it would have been nice if you gave me a locket with your picture on it. That would have been a nice memory. Of course, I didn't ask him in person, but I couriered that letter. I was with Bhagwan day in and day out, but I didn't give that letter to him. I couriered it. And it was one way in which I could express myself and get it out of my system. And I hardly expected Bhagwan to react to it. Uh, and some days passed by. This was during the Dasara, every evening Veda Purusha Saptaha Yajnam, Bhagwan would give a discourse in the evening. And a few days after I wrote this letter, I was sitting right next to Bhagwan on the dais. Bhagwan was giving the speech, and I was on his left hand side, sitting a little behind near the Ganesha, uh, where the Jaya Vijaya statues are there in Prashant Lili. And Bhagwan started his speech, and right after some time in his speech, he said, you know, some people, instead of asking for Bhagwan, what you should ask Bhagwan, you should say, Bhagwan, I want you. But there are some people who ask for very strange things. And he said, for example, one person, I gave a chain. He says, Bhagwan, why can't you give a locket to me? And this is what people ask. Swami, mak chain icchere, locket ivalede. And this is not what you should be asking God for. These kind of people are there in this place. Then I was like, Swami, you are giving this example, but please don't quote my name. This is going to be too embarrassing for me. I knew he was talking about this. I knew he was talking about my request. But luckily, he stopped there, and I just wanted to disappear. Um, and then next day morning, uh, Bhagwan called me for an interview. And in that interview, there were already a lot of foreigners. And as soon as I went inside, uh, Bhagwan looked at me uh, and he showed his hand like this. You can see my hand, right? This is how he showed his hand. Uh, and in front of everybody, he asked me, "What do you see?" Uh, I was, I was, I just saw the hand and I said, "Oh, there's nothing there." So I said, "Swami, I don't see anything." Then Swami did like this. See this boy, how he's saying he sees nothing. And he said, there is everything here. There is everything here. You are not able to see. Then I said, no, no, Swami, I didn't mean that. I just said physically there's nothing, but I know. He said, no, 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 this is how you are. And then he waved his hand and he created a locket with Swami's image on that. Uh, and he said, give me your chain. I gave my chain and he tried to put that locket inside the chain. It wasn't going inside. Then he said, you keep the locket with you. And then he went inside with a group, finished another interview. I was sitting outside. He came back again. And then he said, okay, give me a locket. Uh, I gave it. And he said, see, this locket is not fitting. So I have to give this boy another locket. And he held that locket and he blew it 3 times. And it was a square locket earlier, and it became a round locket in front of our eyes. And then he took that locket and he said, give me your chain again. And he started putting that locket inside that chain. It won't go because there was the setting was not proper. The chain was a little bit thick and the locket wouldn't go inside. And then what he did is he took the chain and he put it in his teeth and he pressed it hard with his teeth so that the chain becomes a little narrow, and then he put that locket. For me, the most precious possession I have till date is neither the chain nor the locket, but to this day I have his teeth marks on that chain, and that is the most precious memory I have of the imprints, the physical imprint of Bhagwan on that chain. And this is what Bhagwan is. He could have probably got me a locket that fully fit into the chain, but this touch that he's just like a mother. He's willing to do what it takes and use his teeth uh, to fix this, and then he put it around my neck, and then he kind of sent me out. Yeah, he kept giving me what I wanted uh, until I was ready to take what he wanted to give. So this journey continued. There are endless memories flooding uh, uh, my mind. On how really Swami, you know, took me along. Very patient with my human frailties, my fickle-mindedness, my desires, my silly desires, indulged. me in all of these things, but kept giving me the lessons. You need to want only me. You don't know how important this is. It is me. It is me that it is God that you need to ask for. And uh, I'll probably give one more example of how he kind of kept taking care of the small little things and built that strong bond of uh, love and uh, trust uh, in my mind towards him. Very patient, just like an artist, chipping away the unwanted portions, satisfying a few little desires here, uh, giving me so much of attention, so much of limelight. You feel so important when you are with Bhagwan. Your ego is so bloated because you are getting something that you, even in your wildest dreams you didn't even imagine. So I'll share one more experience, and probably looking at the time here, if there's enough time, I'll probably share an experience or two, and then I will see if I can conclude. Like I mentioned to you, Bhagwan uh, continued to bless me with so many opportunities, and just living with him 24 hours a day. And one of the things that happened in the course of time around 2000, early 2003 or something like that, is that he told me, you come and stay in Purnachandra along with me. Those days Bhagwan was staying in Purnachandra, and he said, you stay in Purnachandra with me. And then he said, not only that, every day you have lunch and dinner with me. I said, fine, this is lovely. Uh, so I started, and I don't know, in those days, if anyone of you would have seen me, uh, I was very, very thin. One of my professors used to call me like, you look like a shirt put on a hanger. I was extremely underweight. Uh, and no matter what I did or my parents did, I wouldn't put on weight. And I think it was one of my uh, uh, probably concerns of my parents that this guy is not putting on weight. Uh, so anyway, so that was a little bit of a context that you will understand why I'm telling this. In fact, if you see, uh, I think brother Abhinav asked me for a photograph in for the Samarpan invite. And what I'm going to tell you is connected to that photograph. If you go back and look at that photograph. So every day I had this opportunity to have dinner and lunch with Bhagwan. And somehow it happened that uh, everybody occupied the seats which were farthest from Bhagwan. Uh, and I had to sit right next to Bhagwan on his right hand side. And the food that came to Purnachandra uh, from the boys' hostel, from the village, and then Swami's cook and several devotees used to send. It was the most delicious, sumptuous food that anyone can imagine. And Swami wouldn't have anything. Swami's food was very, very simple. He would take a little bit of a rice, some ragi, some fruits. Hardly he ate anything, but he would expect everybody else to eat to their uh, stomach full. He was a very insistent host, and he will tell Tisco, wait, and he'll go on telling the cook, You please serve, 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 serve. And obviously, one of the rules is like you cannot waste food, and whatever is there on your plate, you have to eat. And because I was right next to Swami, the Swami would say, "Yeah, put more for him." And I had to eat. It was very difficult for me, but I couldn't leave anything on the plate. Everybody else, and now I later understood why they were sitting far away from Swami, is because they had an understanding with the cook. So when the cook would come from under the table, they will signal to him, "I don't want this. Don't." So the cook will skip. But I couldn't employ such a system because I was right next to Swami. So the cook will go on putting things on my plate. And Swami will finish his lunch or dinner in 5 minutes. Rest everybody used to finish in another 5 minutes because they had less quantity on their plates, and I was the one who was left. And everybody, all the 6 or 7 people, or sometimes 8 to 10, depends, including Swami, would be waiting like this for me to finish my food. It was so difficult for me, and I had to finish it. I can't keep eating all day, and it continued, it continued, uh, and as you can expect, I started putting on weight. Um and I was when I came to Purnachandra, I was 49 kilos. Um, at I was probably 23 or 24 at that time. I was weighing 49 kilos. And then when after a couple of months, while having lunch, Swami asked me, Aruna, em samacharam. He said, "What news, Arun?" I said, Swami, my mom called me and told me that she saw me on TV. I said, "Oh," Swami said, "Oh, is that really? Where?" He said, "Swami, one of the programs I was behind you, and she saw me on TV. And she called me and told me that she was very happy." "Oh, what else did she say?" Then I said, "Swami, my mom said I put on weight." And Swami said, "Oh, really? Did she say that?" And he was beaming with joy. Like, I think this was one of the missions of his avatar, to make this boy put on weight. And then he made a very prophetic statement. Then he said, uh, "Arun, uh, చూస్తూ ఉండు, నిన్ను ఇంకా లావు చేస్తాను." Means, see, keep seeing, I will make you even more fatter. And then he made it his kind of the purpose of his, uh, as if the purpose in the next year or so. And he kept putting all attention on me, and I kept putting on weight, and I became nice, uh, handsome, good looking, no longer the hanger, the shirt on a hanger that my professor used to describe me. And many people told me, "Hey, you're looking good, you're looking nice and chubby and radiant." And I said, it's all because of the feast that I'm having every day, thanks to Bhagwan. And uh, on one of the discourses during birthday, uh, I think it was the birthday discourse, I was sitting behind Swami, and suddenly Swami said, "I want to tell you about this boy." And he turned to me and he said, "Get up, stand next to me." I stood next to him. And this is when somebody clicked that picture that was there in the Samarpan invite. And he said to all the devotees in Kulwant Hall, "See this boy? Uh, this boy is with me. He's staying with me." And he was so underweight. Uh, and, whatever his parents did, he could not gain weight. But he's so happy with me. He put on a lot of weight. Now you see him, all of you see him. He has put on a lot of weight, and he said, "I'm very happy because that's whoever is with Swami, they will be like this. They'll be happy, and they'll be wholesome." And he said he also gave a number. He said, "Do you all know how much weight he put on?" And then he said he put on 18 kgs. He put on 18 kgs after he came to me. And I, at that time, I was not 18. I put on maybe something like 9 or 10 kgs. I was 49 when I came to Swami. I put on some 9 or 10 kgs. And after the speech, I was like, Swami, I know you want to praise your boys, but 18? No, Swami, I thought in my mind. But brothers and sisters, the peak weight that I reached was 67 kgs in my life, and it stabilized there. So it was 18 kgs, and I continue to be, on that path. And when I reached 18 kgs, more than when I went to Swami, it just stabilized. Well, for Swami, time doesn't matter. For Swami, uh, you know, eh, that 18 is the end goal. That's what he fixed for me, and it did happen. So these are things that you kind of wonder that why Bhagwan is going off to such mundane level and being part of your joys and sorrows, uh, and then you get used to his love, you get addicted to his love, you're so much into the presence, like, especially for me, day in and day out, eating, sleeping, talking, following him in darshan. There was the very air that I was breathing was the air that Swami was breathing out. And then one day, uh, Bhagwan said, enough. And you get addicted so much to his presence. And then he said, enough. It's done. You get on with your life. And then you start figuring out you can't survive without his love. You can't survive without that presence. And it's a struggle. You just don't know. And then it is a question of survival. You want that presence, but you cannot get that presence, uh, you know, in the physical way. And then he pushes you inside because you can't survive without that presence. And he continues to push me inside, 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 inside. And he tells me, I've given you what I wanted, what you wanted. What I want to give you is the ability for you to feel my presence, not just when I'm around, not just when you are with me, not just when you are eating with me, not just when you are sleeping in Purnachandra. Wherever you are eating, can you feel my presence? Wherever you are sleeping, can you feel my presence? Whatever you are doing, can you feel my presence? This is what I want to give. I primed you up. I told you how it is to feel the presence, how ecstatic it can be, how beautiful that love can be. And I'm telling you, I'm I am present everywhere, every cell, every human being, every living being, every non-living being. Can you invoke that presence? And can you still feel that love of mine? If you do, then you are ready to take what I actually wanted to give. I've given you what you wanted. Now take what I want to give. And that's a journey I'm on, brothers. And that's why we are all here to continue to feel his love. And hopefully, we will, not hopefully, I'm certain that with Bhagwan's blessings, um, we will continue to feel his presence. We just have to open our minds. We just have to, uh, remove the rubbish from our minds and hearts. And he is there, always shining, effulgent, and always a presence that we can feel. So once again, uh, I thank everyone who has given me the opportunity to share some thoughts. And very grateful to Bhagwan for allowing me to relive those wonderful memories that I spent with him. Thank you, Saira.
Thank you, Arun brother. First of all, sharing your thoughts with us. Definitely, as you said, it is always Bhagwan that each of the Samarpan sessions he makes us realize that he's always there each and every session, and he's always there at. So some of the things which I could take away from your talk, how a loving mother Swami is, and at the same time he's a strict mother. He's always there with us, supporting us, just bringing out the realizing, making us realize as to where we want to reach, starting from your incident, from your waiting days, or maybe the locket incident, or the food incident, wherein he proudly says, so it is always that is it is said that Swami's love is the love of 1,000 mothers. So I would like to thank you once again for sharing your thoughts with us. Just before we end, we have one or two questions which has been put up, and I can just read out to them to you. So, the first question which has come up is, please tell us how to be loving unconditionally as Swami would like us to be. We expect, the human tendencies expect reciprocation, which shouldn't be the case, but that is how we are. So, how do you expect to be loving unconditionally as Swami wants us to be?
Um, I think for me, I mean, these are all uh, my perceptions, so please take them with a pinch of salt. But I think to be to love unconditionally i- is the ultimate goal, and we have all seen that this unconditional love uh, cannot come from any mortal human being. It is always Bhagwan. But I think it's a question of how close we can get to it. Um, and I think by Bhagwan's own definition of love, uh, his definition of love is selflessness. So I think to the extent that uh, we can reduce our ego, uh, and by reduction of ego, I would probably define that as just the realization of the fact that uh, you are not the doer. It is the Lord. You are not the thinker. You are not the doer. Swami is omnipresent, omnipotent. Everything that you say, do, or think, if you constantly remind yourself that Swami is the inner motivator, I think we can get close to it. And Bhagwan says, like, whatever you do, uh, and whatever it is, however heinous you might find it in retrospective, just offer it to me. Surrender. I think surrender can get us close to that unconditional love. The more we surrender, the more unconditional we can become. That is my assessment. Obviously, it's a journey, but I'm sure he'll make us reach the goal.
Thank you, brother. So, the second question which we have here is, how can we balance doing Swami's work and the job outside, or make time for both? That is one of the questions.
Okay. I think this is a very classic question that I have asked myself uh, many times. Um, but I think Swami answered this brilliantly in many times, many ways. Uh, I think I remember once Bhagia sir told us that Swami called him into the interview room and told him very emphatically that if you divide that this is spirituality and this is not spirituality and this is Swami's work and this is not Swami's work, Swami said, I will not give you in 1,000 lives what you want. I think the first way to balance work and spirituality is to remove the distinction between them. The need for the balance itself has to go away. You do what you're supposed to do at any given point of time, knowing that everything is subject to Swami's will. And you simply do not know the effects of what you are doing. And if you become the instrument of Bhagwan, then your work itself becomes a worship. But you have to offer it to Bhagwan. So I think that our error is making a distinction between what is our work, what is Swami's work, what is professional, what is family. Uh, but if you really see, Bhagwan says everything is divine. Every human being is divine. At work, you are affecting Bhagwan in a different way, helping Bhagwan, all manifestations of Bhagwan in a different way. In family, when you serve your mother or your children, it is the same Bhagwan. In society, it is the same Bhagwan. In Samarpan, it is the same Bhagwan who's talking and who's listening. So if you remove the distinctions, then there's no question of balance. You can sustain this. I think the distinction is what makes us suffer.
Thank you, brother. And the last question which we would like to take up is, uh, as you said, each and every one of us has that monkey mind. So can you tell us how to turn this monkey mind towards inward part? How to reach Bhagwan? Basic tips to start with.
Uh, I think there are two things which helped me on the path. Um I think I keep coming back to this. You have to uh, surrender to Bhagwan, and you have to ask for his help. Uh, I think all that we need to do is to genuinely ask for help from Bhagwan. In controlling the monkey mind, because on our own it is not possible. Uh, I think a genuine, and that's what happened. If you recollect, in my first instance, I had a wavering mind, but I also had a desire for Bhagwan, and I think that was enough for Swami to forgive me, and make sure that I reach a certain stability. I think it's the same with all walks of life. You have to ask Bhagwan for help, and you will receive it, but you have to be very consistent about it. And the second part, I think, is I think it's just practice. Uh, and you know, you just try your best to implement what Bhagwan has mentioned. Whenever there is a confusion or a wavering of the mind, there are many things that Bhagwan has told that you can do. That you assert that you are not the mad monkey, or you are not uh, the body which is a water bubble, and he says like you remember that you are God. I think it takes a lot of practice and asking Bhagwan for help. And again, like I said, uh, it's a journey. Our uh, our agony lies in seeking perfection immediately. But if we trust that, uh, Bhagwan will give what we deserve in due course of time. You know, like he says, every flower will bloom in its own time. So we will not achieve things overnight. But what Bhagwan says is start early, drive slowly, reach safely. So let's not be in a hurry to achieve perfection, but let's be steadfast and consistent in our efforts. And one day, without your realization, you would have, if you look back, I think Swami would have pulled you a long way from where you were. But if you keep checking every day, that's going to be a problem. You just have to uh, keep trying. And when you try, there is always Swami's help. Sincerity is what we need.
Thank you so much, brother. Once again, thanking Bhagwan for giving us this opportunity to once again revisit all these incidences which make us realize that he's always there at each and every walk of our lives, walking with us, behind us, always there with us. Thank you, Brother Arun, for taking out time and sharing thoughts with all of us. We would like to end this session with Samasta Loka Sukhino Bhavantu.
Sairam.
Samasta Loka Sukhino Bhavantu. समस्तलोका सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्तलोका सुखिनो भवन्तु ओम शांति 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 जय बोलो भगवान श्री सत्य साई बाबा जी की जय
Sairam.